Good morning, folks. This is Waylon Lewis from snowy, cold Boulder, Colorado. And today, I just want to talk about a conversation I had last night with a Buddhist teacher, a friend of mine, Barbara Smith, who was talking about Children's Day. Children's Day is the Buddhist celebration of the solstice, the winter solstice, which was yesterday. And the winter solstice is not some big spiritual kind of mysterious thing. It's a celebration of what's actually happening with the sun and the earth. So it's the shortest day of the year, the least light, and the most darkness, the longest night of the year. So last night you just had the longest night of our entire year. And the winter solstice has been celebrated for millennia by different cultures all over the world. They recognize the solstice and what was happening, and it's symbolic in many traditions, including the Buddhist tradition, of two things. One, of the return of the sun. The Romans called it invicti solis, the invincible sun, the sun is coming back. So if you felt down, if you felt like things have been hard, if things have been depressing or painful in the world or in your own life, the winter solstice is, at least symbolically and in terms of nature, good news for you. And because from now on through summer, the days become longer and the nights become shorter. And don't worry, you'll still get a nice night's sleep. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, and if you're just tuning in, like Hazel or Robin, say where you're from. That's our little tradition, and then we see where everyone is from all over the U.S. and all over the world. So if you're just tuning in, say where you're from. And the other fun thing is, if you can, give it a like or a love or a funny-faced emoticon, then the Facebook's algorithm will say, oh, people are liking this. We'll share it beyond the choir, beyond the 82 people who are here right now. And it'll, as you'll see by the end of this video, it'll get to 200 or 500. Yesterday, the last video I did was at 582 people. And that's because of you guys. So, alrighty. So the winter solstice. So that, in Buddhism, that's the tradition of the celebration of Children's Day. And Children's Day is the day of the year when the children are king and the children are queen. And there's some notion, like in the Christian tradition, like in almost every tradition, but we forget about this with Christmas often, with the consumerism and the presents and all the good stuff and all the bad stuff. I personally love Christmas. I'm Buddhist, but I love Christmas, and I'll talk about the pagan roots of Christmas in a moment, because a lot of people who hate Christmas are actually kind of mistaken. You're just hating on maybe the consumerism, but that isn't Christmas. Well, I guess I'm talking about it right now. So most of I would say like 50% of my friends kind of hate Christmas. And they hate it for two reasons. One is that it's often really cold. And two, it's kind of consumerism and, the sort of like Christian majority oppressing them in some way. So first of all, almost all the traditions of Christmas that we identify, and there's this wonderful article on Elephant, are actually pagan traditions that go back generations and generations, and are really just about family, and are about love, and are about nature, and are about symbolism. So there's this great blog on Elephant about the sort of 12 traditions of Christmas that are actually pagan and what those roots are, from the tree to the mistletoe to the so I can go over some of those because it's just sort of fun. And then we'll also put a blog in the comments about Children's Day. So I put both of those blogs. Ashley is here in the talk show chat. I put both of those links. All right, so what I love about winter, not just Christmas or winter solstice or whatever, but winter. We were talking at this party with some Iraqi friends of ours, or of mine. We were talking with this Buddhist teacher, typical Boulder party. Iraqi friends, amazing, like hummus and olives and all this amazing food. And we were talking to this Buddhist teacher, and she just reminded me that winter is really healthy in a sense. If you're in California, in my opinion, congratulations, but I think you're missing out. We are so speedy and we are so aggressive in America and in much of the world. We're on our phones, we're running around, our to-do lists are driving us, our brains are like habit trails. And winter forces us to slow down. I know every time there's a big snowstorm here in Boulder, a blizzard or just snowfall, everything becomes peaceful, and you look outside and you look at the snow falling through the streetlights, and you see even all the fast driving trucks and everyone, they're kind of going slowly, and everything's softened in terms of sound, and it's peaceful. And Christmas, Christians often talk about peace on earth, and it's a real time of year when you feel that peace descend. And Boulder, Colorado goes from this somewhat speedy, aggressive town in 2016 to this very slow, kind of timeless town, like a small town out of, a century ago. And it's a beautiful feeling. And in the same way, the Buddhist teacher was saying that Christmas and winter and snow, it all forces us to kind of go inside internally, like the Romans were talking about with invictus solis, and you find the invincible sun within. And that's the notion of winter solstice. So from a Buddhist point of view, that would be called basic goodness. We're all fundamentally good, beneath our neurosis, beneath our aggression, beneath our insecurity. We are A-OK. So if there's any questions, go for it. I just really want to remind people that snow and Christmas and winter, all of this is good stuff. I'm not Christian. You can celebrate whatever tradition you like in the winter, of course. I'm not here to tell you what to celebrate, but just as a way to make friends with Christmas, if you're not really, read that blog about the pagan traditions, and it's just really interesting. If nothing else, it's really fun. Alrighty, so yes, and exactly like what Carolyn said, instead of getting caught up in the stress of what you think you have to do for Christmas, you can get caught up in the natural slowing down and going inside and reading and being by the fire and having good food with friends, or even just yourself. I'm a bachelor, so I'm often having good food with myself, as you can see, evidence from last night. All right, so if there's any questions or comments, go for it. If not, I'm going to tune out, but I would highly recommend, if you feel like it, I gave a talk on Children's Day. That's in the comments, hopefully, from Ashley, our editor. And yeah, I'm wearing this like sock monkey Curious George hat that an intern gave me many years ago. And I wear this at night because I turn my heat basically off. And New York Times did an article on this a year ago. It's much healthier to sleep when it's cold, but you have tons of blankets on you so that you're nice and warm. But that the air is cooler and it's better for your metabolism and you sleep deeper, which is nice. So that's another little fun thing. All right, I'm going to go through comments. And again, if you're just tuning in, say where you're from, if you are so inspired to. And if you want to help this video get out beyond the choir, the Facebook algorithm basically is fed by likes and emoticons. It'll see all that and say, okay, this video is worth sharing beyond the people who might automatically see it. So how the algorithm works is most people on Facebook, even if they're fans of Elephant Journal, won't see this video unless you guys kind of bake the pie bigger by doing exactly what you're doing, the flood of loves and likes. So that's super sweet, and it's not for me, it's not for Elephant, it's really just for people who maybe could use a little mindful reminder that winter, that slowing down is okay. And in fact, it's really good for us. It's good for us to go in and out, in and out, just like a breath, just like the tide, just like your lungs. All right, Leslie, Merry Christmas from Tustin. Merry Christmas to you. Oh, and Ashley, if you're on, I also wrote a blog, Why I, as a Buddhist, Say Merry Christmas to All. Is there any way that you or any reader who's here could Google that and put that link in the comments? That would be great. And there's Deb Deep from India. There's Sophie. Maybe we could all give love to Sophie because she got hit by a car when she was running. She was going for a jog and she got hit by a car. So everyone, if so inspired, in the comments, say big love to Sophie. She's very dear to me. She's okay mostly, but not really completely. Robin from Central Sierras, Jefferson, Maine. Hazel, Nicole's here. Oh, thank you, Nicole. Pasadena, California. Delia, San Diego, St. Louis. Yeah, hard time. Laura Gomez, you can say more if you like, and maybe we can help. Deb Deep, I haven't been doing too many videos. I did one at night. That was very, very popular. Cincinnati, Ohio, Carolyn. Boise, Jan. Warmest greeting from Panama City, Florida. Most of my friends and family pass on at this time. Nobody gets out alive. Wow. Well, I guess if you're going to retire from life, this is, winter is a good time to kind of go in and just be calm and quiet. So big love to your loved ones, Christy. Michael from Egypt, super cool. West Coker, UK, from Catherine, super cool. Very exciting. Oh, there's the Winter Solstice blog. It's actually Children's Day, whatever. It's all the same. Children's Day in the Buddhist tradition. And there's some really good stuff. There's a Buddhist talk for children in there. Here's my dog. He just has a little bone here. There's Redford, happily munching away. His new orange collar, made in the USA. All right, Jessica from Birmingham. Patricia from Farmington. Jody from snowy Fredericton, New Brunswick. Laura from Edinburgh, Scotland. Laura, one of our editors, Emily Bartran, is going to the University of Edinburgh. So you should, Edinburgh. So you should go by and find her and say hey from Waylon. Andrea, hello from Colorado. Hazel from Jefferson, Maine. Taylor loves my hat from Henderson. I need some coffee. North, what is NV? Oh boy. New Zealand. Wow, I was trying to think of a U.S. state. Catherine from Phoenix. All right. Exactly what Rachel says. You make Christmas what you want it to be. Okay, if there's any comments or questions, I'll answer those. If not, I'm going to tune out. But it's wonderful to see all of you. Jody, or from Patricia, her mom was the first baby born at the Fredericton Hospital on Christmas Day in 1924. That's amazing. You get a like. Any questions or comments? Slowing down. Yeah, Carolyn. Exactly what Carolyn said. From a Buddhist point of view or a human point of view, so true. Slowing down feels like a radical act, strangely. So take the opportunity today, like I came to a couple stoplights yesterday, where, or intersections, where I could have gone first or a car could have gone first, and I let the car go first. Give the opportunity for someone to go first. Instead of them feeling speedy and aggressive, just let them go. Just let them have a little gap. And you give, in so doing, you give yourself a little gap of, okay, maybe I'm not in a rush, or even if I am in a rush, I can take a breath. And then when you take a breath, you give yourself the opportunity to come back to the present moment, and then you can actually do things more efficiently because you're present. Instead of forgetting your keys 5 times, forgetting your whatever, you do everything right the first time, more often when you're present. And if you don't, you have a sense of humor and you can breathe through it. All right. Caroline, I love your comment. Thank you. Carolyn, I dislike the stress people feel around this time of year due to the commercializing of it all. So the commercialization of Christmas, I say, is capitalism. Capitalism will try to take advantage of anything that is popular. If it's a soccer game, they'll try and sell you $10 hot dogs. If it's Christmas, they'll try and push all kinds of consumerism on everyone. Your Christmas gift could be a used book with a beautiful inscription, and that could have so much meaning. For someone going through a tough time, give them a Pema Chodron book. That could have so much meaning and power for their life. They don't have to be big things. Alrighty. Sophie, what about spending the New Year's Eve alone? I think we have some articles on that. I've spent a number of New Year's Eves alone, and it's fine. I mean, there is no problem with sadness. I think we in the West have a big fear or prejudgment on sadness. But from a Buddhist tradition, we have this great blog, if Nicole or Ashley are still here, the Buddhist view of loneliness as a good thing, or sadness. You can touch in with that loneliness. You can touch in with that sadness, and you can kind of just, make friends with yourself. So that's the blog Maitri that I'm always talking about. Maybe we could put Maitri in there as well. That it's okay to touch our sadness and to touch our heart and to feel it and not try and get away from it by playing video games or watching Netflix or eating ice cream or acting out in some way, suppressing it, trying to drown it in entertainment. We can actually just feel who we are, and that's okay. If we can't make friends with our loneliness or our sadness, we really can't make friends with ourselves, and we're going to be going through all of life trying to get away from something or trying to bury something. So it's a really good practical project to, next time you feel sad or you feel lonely, just kind of don't even philosophize about it, just feel it. And you can have a sense of joy or humor about your sadness. So read that blog, maybe it's helpful. I found it very, very helpful, personally. So Sophie, beautiful question, thank you. There's David, I don't know if he's actually here. Yeah, I got these pajamas recently from secondhand, sort of morbid, but from an estate sale, but I love them. And that's what happens, death and life, and that's winter and summer, it is sad, but it's also it's not bad, it's just life and death. Jody Lynn, my family isn't close and is very dysfunctional. I think that goes for about half of us, if not more. That's why I don't really like Christmas. It's never death. It's never something like the movies portray it as family-wise. Yeah, no, there are some good movies that show that kind of difficulty with family, but that's completely accurate, Jody Lynn. Christmas or holidays, wintertime, winter solstice are actually a time to be genuine. So if you're having a hard time with family, we have great blogs on that, how to deal with your crazy family. I've done a video on that if you go to youtube.com/elephantjournal. And when I say crazy, I'm talking about myself as well. My family, my mom, everyone can be super nuts, but they're also super sweet and intelligent and caring, and we're just all like that. We're all confused and kind of doing our best and doing our worst. So that's a great point, Jody Lynn. I definitely don't reject that point. Christy, thank you for your kind words. DC, Stoughton. Yeah, but, you can use that opportunity, Leslie, to honor your parents and honor your love for your parents, even though they've passed away. So, and remember that many people like myself, I'm an only child with my parents weren't married for very long. So I'm often spending Christmas alone or with friends. So you can define Christmas or wintertime traditions, New Year's Eve, all this stuff, in any way you want. You can say, I'm going to spend time with some friends, or I'm going to spend time with myself. I'm going to take a bath with some Epsom salts, with a book or a magazine I love. Treat yourself. Be good to yourself. Chris, I'm not sure if we're going to have a white Christmas. We're having less and less snow here in Boulder, and Vermont is going to have no snow in 20 years. Climate change is definitely taking effect. So we'll see. I hope so. All right. Carolyn, I love this. This is a great tip for everyone. We invite people who we know are single or alone. The best Christmas gift you can give. Lonely people won't tell you, so ask them. I love that, Carolyn. Thank you so much. If everyone wants to give her a like or a whatever, again, that'll help the video get out to more people if you find this at all helpful. Denise, hello from me, my fiancé, and our fur babies from the Philippines. Wow, it must be an intense time. We think we have it intense with Trump. It must be intense living in the Philippines right now with Duterte. That guy's nutso. Christy, don't laugh at people's pain in this comment section. Be thankful you haven't experienced it Or maybe they have experienced it and that's why they're making fun of others. I actually haven't seen that comment you're referring to, but yeah, be nice. Good motto for life. Be nice. Sandra, in Camp Verde, still sleeping with the window open at night at 20 or 30 degrees. I love that. As long as your heat is also off so you're not killing your, warming the planet. Bloomington, Indiana, and lived in Vermont. Okay, I'm going to tune out unless there's more questions or comments. Lots of great... Oh, Dan Elliott read my recommendation, Shambhala. It's such a good read. Yeah, I would say 90% of this is an amazing read. The last 10% gets a little interesting, but it's great. Prisca, Italy, in Florence. Prisca was in Florence a few years ago with Peggy Markel, and I kind of want to move there and buy a farm and bike around. Lena, any tips on how to stick to possible New Year's resolutions? I think New Year's resolutions are a little bit like willpower, and you're always going to fail anything that's based on willpower. Always. So I would just let go and give up. On the other hand, you could redefine them as New Year's aspirations. So it's good to have an aspiration. This year, may I be of benefit. This year, may I treat my body with respect or love. This year, may I get exercise every day because that's healthy for my mind and for my lungs and for my relationships with my family or my work colleagues. So maybe just be a little bit more about intention and about kind of being a benefit in your resolutions instead of this kind of heavy-handed like, I'm going to lose 10 pounds. I'm going to be a better person, which often, from a Buddhist point of view, wanting to be a better person is often aggression toward who you are now. So the way you become a better person is you make friends with who you are now, and then you travel the path of being a benefit. So instead of saying, I will only be an okay person if I lose 5 pounds and if I were a little bit sexier, instead I make friends with the fact that I like to eat my ice cream and maybe I'm 5 pounds overweight, and then I also, out of that feeling of wholesomeness and being friends with myself, I find exercises that I enjoy, like climbing in my case. So that's just an example because we're all trying to lose 5 pounds or whatever around New Year's and gym memberships explode. So it is a good thing to exercise, but not out of a sense of willpower or trying to be a better person in some aggressive way. My next book, if I ever get time to work on it, it's pretty much done, is titled Self-Help is Bad for You. And it's meant to be a little bit humorous, but there's some notion in Buddhism that self-help is all about almost rejecting who we are now and trying to reach a higher state. And instead, you can just make friends with who you are now and then be completely and fully present with a sense of humor and kindness and tenderness. Yeah, so we have wonderful blogs about depression from a mindful point of view, working with depression. Amanda. A lot of good stuff. So if you look, I wrote a blog about 10 ways to work with everyday depression, not clinical depression particularly. Obviously, that's something you need to, more about how to work with your situation than I do if that's what you're going through. But maybe if an editor is still on, you could put the ways to work with everyday depression. Catherine, advice for those who are missing deceased loved ones. So don't turn your missing deceased loved ones into a bad thing. It's actually a good thing. You love them, you miss them, you honor them, you cherish them. So it's actually really sweet, and that's great. And you can feel that sadness, but it's not bad. So many of us maybe didn't even have a family to miss. You know what I mean? So you can feel how lucky you were to know them. So just cherish them. Keep it simple. There's that blog in the comments. Thank you, editor. Buddhist view of loneliness as a good thing. Although I think that's just the Maitri blog. So there's actually a blog called The Buddhist View of Loneliness is a good thing. If we can put that in the comments as well. Yeah, Laura, I want to go to Scotland and visit Emily. Laura, we have blogs on working with narcissists, many of them. And maybe an editor could put that in the comments after you put the Buddhist view of loneliness is a good thing. All right, Jill, heading back to Illinois to have what will likely be the last family Christmas, and I'm so happy to have the opportunity to participate. Redford is bored. Hey, Red. He is, can you tell what he's thinking right now? He's thinking, when are we going outside? When will he stop talking to his little telephonic device? It's so boring. Do you want to lie down? He's looking a little sleepy. All right. Yeah, Laura. So also from a Buddhist point of view, I wouldn't overly define people as narcissists or empaths. We're all empathetic. We're all narcissistic. We all have egos. We all have hearts. And obviously some of us get caught up more in our egos than others, and some are more feeling than others. But, you know, don't divide the world into feeling people and narcissistic people. It's wonderful and powerful to be able to work with narcissistic people, people who are challenging. In the Buddhist world, they say working with enemies is a blessing, because you can work with people who give yourself a hard time, and then they bring up stuff in yourself, and then you can work with that through meditation. So my advice would be to meditate in the morning and in the evening. There's lots more blogs here, blogs in the comments. Thank you, editors. How to survive the holidays when a loved one is missing. How to deal with the crazy family who you love. Thank you so much. It's better to sleep in a cool room. Yeah, that's one of the natural remedies to fight insomnia. Hello from Oakville, Ontario, near Toronto. Stephen, hello to you. Carolyn, if I were alone this time of year, I'd seek to help others, which in turn would fill me up with goodwill toward others. Yeah, one thing I do here in Boulder, which is actually really easy, is you talk to some local restaurants. You say, would you be willing to donate some gift certificates to families in need? Single parents, single moms, single dads, who maybe don't have the money for a warm meal. And then you reach out to the public and you find some people who need help. And you just then direct them to those restaurants, and they can get those gift certificates without anyone even knowing their situation. And when they spend the money on a meal, it's just a gift certificate, so there's no sort of embarrassment about it. And the restaurants are super happy to do it. They love it. And the public kind of gets all excited because it's an opportunity to be kind and thoughtful. And hopefully the families who get the nice warm meals, who maybe couldn't afford it, also feel really cared for and loved, if only in that, you know, for a couple hours. But hopefully those couple hours kind of glow, you know. All right. So that's something I'm doing this winter, and it's a little bit of work with coordination, but I try and do it every year. And the kitchen and Shine and various people, Blair, all these amazing companies are donating stuff. It's really cool. Yeah, Dawn, any good videos on Buddhism for those unfamiliar? First of all, I would recommend Trungpa and Pema Chodron. There's many videos on Elephant Journal and on YouTube. And then my videos, if you like them, I'm kind of normal, not normal, but accessible. I'm not a holy guru. So I grew up and studied and was trained in Buddhism my whole life, and it's been very helpful to me personally, because I'm clearly in need of help. I'm nuts. So if you relate to someone sort of on your level more, you might enjoy my videos on youtube.com/elephantjournal. If you want someone who actually gets this stuff and is wise and kind, then Pema Chodron or Trungpa Rinpoche. And we could put their names or their blogs on Elephant in the comments. Yeah, ways to deal with everyday depression. So can you, I think if, editor, if you can find everyday depression, I have a blog on that. It's from like 6 years ago. It's kind of my Bible on that. All right, big love from Rachel to Catherine. My mom passed away 4 years ago, and I put a picture of her in my Christmas tree. I love that. Thank you, Rachel. Laura, beautiful. Yeah, after losing your dad. So yeah, just be really kind to yourself, you know? I mean, it's a tough time of year. It does highlight, a lot of us fight that going inside. It's good to go inside. It's good to get quiet. It's good to miss our loved ones who have passed away. It's good to cherish their memory and cherish our luckiness that we knew them. Yeah, Redford. Update on Redford. He's kind of given up. Alrighty. Carolyn, I lead something or adopt a class in inner city school where most kids don't have gifts. We give books, hats, scarves, toys, snacks, and food, play games, and do crafts. I only wish we could do more, but my volunteers love what we can accomplish. It's very rewarding. Well, for those of us who haven't done anything generous, or it's so fun to be generous. It feels so good. It's like lighting a little fire in your heart, a little campfire. Maybe we could donate to your little volunteer squad, Carolyn, if you put the comments or the link in the comments. Alrighty, folks. Thank you so much. Let's end with a moment of meditation, which is a wonderful way to deal with everything I've talked about. So take a great posture, or you can tune out if you don't want to do it. Take a great posture. This is a very simple Buddhist meditation. You can do this whether you're Buddhist or Christian or agnostic or atheist or what have you. All right. So find your breath in and out. Eyes are open in this particular practice. We're not trying to shut anything out. We're actually trying to mix it all up. Find your breath in and out. Begin your meditation by dedicating the merit of your day and of this meditation to the benefit of others. This isn't for ourselves only. And just breathe in and out. If you're stressed out, if you're failing at something, if you're speedy, if you're missing someone dear, if you're going through something, if you're feeling lonely, if you're going through something hard, whatever it is, good or bad, happy or sad, you can just notice that thought and label it thinking. I'm thinking. Just touch that. I'm thinking. And return your attention to your breath gently. And in that way, we bring our habitual mind back from getting lost in its own worries and stress and self-importance, and we come back to the present moment again and again. Thank you, everyone. If you enjoyed this, you can click the notification window. As soon as I hang up, it'll be in the middle of the screen. And you can get all of our videos, including our very short ones and more professionally produced ones, on youtube.com/elephantjournal. And I think the editors have the YouTube link. If you want to get Elephant's best stuff, not just our viral stuff, our best stuff, that's our online curated magazine, elephantjournal.com/best. And that is free. elephantjournal.com/best. And have a wonderful solstice. Enjoy the return of the light. Thank you, everyone.